Chapter 8: Crisis Communication. Over the past 5 years, crisis communications have dramatically evolved. Social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and blogs have redefined the communication landscape, forcing organizations to be more vigilant about what is said about them in online. Today, public responses following a crisis must be issued within minutes, or at most few hours, rather than the 24-hour delay that was once acceptable. Effective communication strategies are essential for managing a crisis. The crisis management team, or CMT, must have access to accurate information to promptly inform its stakeholders. In crisis situations, emotions like fear, hostility, and anger can distort communications, leading to rumors and inaccurate information, spreading online and exacerbating the situation. Therefore, it is crucial to establish a clear communication structure that delivers objective, truthful, and timely updates to both internal and external stakeholders. Research into organizational crisis communication has deepened our understanding of the critical role that communication plays in identifying the origins of a crisis and launching a successful recovery plan. The more effective the communication, the better the chances of resolving the crisis efficiently and restoring public trust. So first is initiating the communication process. When a crisis begins, the first step is to activate the crisis management team. The CMT implements the Crisis Management Plan, or CMP, which includes the organization's crisis communication strategies. Essentially, this is the crisis communication plan designed to establish procedures for interacting with both internal and external stakeholders during a crisis. The primary goal is to clearly explain what has happened and outline the steps being taken to address the situation. While the core objectives and key messages must remain constant or consistent, the details and methods of delivery may vary depending on the audience. Then the crisis communication with internal stakeholders is also important when a crisis strikes. When a crisis strikes, the communication with internal stakeholders must serve two key functions. First, a command and control approach is needed for management, owners, and selected employees who are directly involved in managing the crisis. Second, it's important to keep the broader employee population informed about the crisis status, its impact on the organization, and the expected steps towards the resolution. The command and control function. The location of the command center and its facilities is crucial for effective crisis management. This center is the physical hub where the company's spokesperson and media representatives convene to communicate. It must also be equipped with disseminate information to stakeholders who are not on site. In situations involving multiple locations, a mobile system provides invaluable help by monitoring and relaying information to a central command center. There, the data is assessed to determine the appropriate crisis mitigation strategies. Communication to the organization's employees. Employees play a critical role in crisis management communications. They are on the front lines. They are often engaged daily with external stakeholders like customers. It's equally important to keep those not directly involved in crisis management also informed. In times of crisis, some employees may feel anxious or fearful about their job security Regular updates can provide reassurance and help maintain morale, even when the news isn't entirely positive. Keeping employees informed is essential. Without clear communication and speculation can lead to dangerous rumors. And employees generally care deeply about their organization and appreciate frequent, honest updates on the crisis status. Lastly, the employees should not be instructed not to respond independently to reporters. They should not be giving instructions to the reporters because they can have their own opinions added to that. Instead, all media inquiries should be directed towards the designated spokesperson who is well informed about the situation. This approach ensures consistency in messaging. Regular intern reports not only help maintain a sense of normalcy, but also significantly reduce the spread of rumors and inaccuracies. Crisis communication with external stakeholders. Communication strategies for external stakeholders should align with severity of the situation. A key element of this strategy is the appointment of a designated spokesperson. Designating a spokesperson. It is generally best to designate a single spokesperson to represent the organization. The choice of the spokesperson should align with the organization's hierarchy and culture and may vary depending upon the nature of the crisis. For example, a crisis in the production sector might be best managed by a member of the crisis management team with expertise in production or manufacturing. The spokesperson should not be chosen only based on seniority, but on the ability to communicate effectively and professionally on behalf of the organization. So the ideal traits we are looking on a spokesperson are on-camera presence, that is appear pleasant and confident, then effective communication, clearly present crisis information and answer questions effectively, including challenging ones, engagement, expressiveness, vocal variety, that is using hand gestures to emphasize key points, then facial expressions, changing facial expressions to appropriately avoid the deer in the headlights look. Clarity in speech, avoid verbal filter. If you don't go on repeating in my presentation, would you like it? No. Maybe you start counting it for the fun of it, but you don't like it. By following these guidelines, organizations can ensure their external communications during a crisis. They have to be consistent, clear, and of course professional. Answering questions effectively means that the spokesperson addresses each question directly and does not deflect or answer a different question than the one asked. The spokesperson should express compassion and concern for those affected by crisis while presenting the information clearly. Technical jargon, try to avoid that, and details explained in non-technical language would be better. The spokesperson must be able to handle challenging questions, which can be long and complicated questions. In that case, you can ask for clarification or ask the questions to be rephrased or repeated. Multiple questions, breaking the questions into smaller parts, possibly numbering each part to provide clearer response. Tricky or tough questions, recognizing when a question is designed to undermine the confidence, and if question cannot be answered, the spokesperson should clearly state that. Questions based on incorrect information, identifying, correcting any erroneous assumptions, and multiple choice questions with limited or unacceptable options. So evaluating whether the alternatives are fair and addressing the issues accordingly. Additionally, it is important for the organization to have backup spokespersons available in case the designated ones are not available. Communicating with news media. When engaging with the news media, it is essential to provide accurate information promptly. Misunderstandings often arise when journalists lack full context. What the organization says or does in the early hours following a crisis can shape how the situation is perceived. The key to cooperate with the media and recognize that journalists are naturally inquisitive. Regular updates shall help to ensure that the public receives accurate information. The organization spokesperson should be well trained to deliver a consistent message. And holding news conferences can reinforce this consistency by providing a controlled environment for communication. Avoiding phrases like no comments when addressing the media for several important reasons. Perception of concealment. So saying no comment suggests that organization is hiding something. Lack of concern. Loss of control. When a spokesperson refuses to comment, journalists are forced to seek information from alternate sources, and this can be often biased or unfavorable. It is crucial to communicate honestly about the event. Now, communicating with customers and social media. Customers are vital to any business because they provide the essential cash flow. Since they can easily switch to another company, maintaining their trust and loyalty is crucial. Companies can achieve this by being honest, responding promptly to product and service complaints, providing clear and accurate information about what is happening. So when the customers receive a full explanation of the crisis, they are often most likely to understand the situation and continue their relationship with the company. So crisis communications and social media is very important. Social media adds two significant challenges for crisis management. One is the speed and one is the reach. Platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as blogs that resemble personal diaries allows both experts and non-experts to share their opinions and insights. Then the impact of blogging and living in a YouTube world. Blogging has become a powerful medium for spreading negative news and opinions, and it requires special attention from corporate communications teams. Bloggers with large followings can quickly reach extensive audiences who in turn share their thoughts and fears and everything with friends and colleagues online. As citizen journalists, bloggers no longer need formal journalism credentials to influence public opinion, which presents a challenge for crisis managers. We are living in a YouTube world. YouTube enables viewers to access video footage of nearly any negative event, and several organizational crises has been sparked by videos posted in the platform. This underscores the need for organizations to monitor and respond to content on YouTube as part of their crisis communication strategy. So, impact on crisis communications. Social media has significantly influenced crisis communication policies. Organizations must adapt to these changes by implementing the following strategies. Monitor the internet, regularly review the blogs, YouTube, and other online activities. Integrate social media into corporate communications plan. Include social media in the crisis communication plans or CMT. So the crisis management team should develop a plan that details how social media tools will be used during a crisis. Larger companies might have, must have, in-house social media plan, teams, and while smaller one doesn't have them, but they may have to retain external specialists. Another important thing is respond quickly. In today's fast-paced social media environment, organizations must respond to crisis within minutes or at most within hours. The old standard of or old standard of 24-hour response is no longer acceptable. Quick, transparent, and communication is essential. Failing to respond immediately can leave a void that might be filled with misinformation on the organization's website or social media channels. Prepare the message for wide audience, not just journalists. When crafting messages for social media, it is essential to develop content that resonates with broad audience. And so what exactly we are talking about is, since there is the social media is available to a broad audience, the message should be in a way it is catering to a larger audience. In this context, a message sender must adopt the role of a journalist, ensuring communication is clear and relatable. A formal corporate tone typical of an official press is usually not appropriate for social networking sites. In platforms like Twitter, it may even spark a message revolution, pushing managers to master the art of delivering concise, clear crisis communications. Utilize search engine optimization to improve online visibility. Employing search engine optimization techniques can help elevate your company's web pages to the first page search of the search engine results, since most users tend to review only the first page of Google's search. Effective SEO can significantly enhance your reach. Pick your battles. What does that mean? In any crisis, some stakeholders will remain unsatisfied or no matter what the organization does. It's important to differentiate between dissatisfied customers, which can often be appeased with personal attention, and trolls who are unlikely to be satisfied. So, as one expert noted, dissatisfied customers can be approached personally and persuaded to change their minds, whereas engaging in larger conferences only fuels trolls. Bloggers have to be learned to ignore trolls. PR professionals must develop the same skill. Pick your battles. Sometimes webs and blogs, sometimes rogue sites, suck sites, and anti-websites are created by the individuals determined not to change their negative opinions about a company. Engaging with these platforms is rarely a productive opinion or option. So it's best to focus on whether you can truly make a difference. Evaluating the success of crisis communication process. Evaluation is essential because it builds knowledge base that fosters learning, helping to identify which actions were effective and which were not. So debriefing and post-crisis analysis is important too, as after an appropriate interval following the crisis management team should convene to review the organization's crisis response. During this debriefing, detailed written records should be maintained to assess both internal and external communications. This evaluation should cover how the company communicated with the media, and how the media in turn portrayed the organization. Documenting the process is crucial for future reference and continuous learning. It can identify who is reporting in what way, and you can tune your message to the media persons accordingly. Then comes the crisis communication training. The crisis management team is responsible for organizing training programs to ensure that the key members of the organization are well versed in crisis management procedures. Medium-sized and large organizations with dedicated human resource departments should leverage their expertise in training and development to enhance overall crisis management capabilities. So the media training equips company spokespersons with the skills needed to communicate effectively with various media professionals, including journalists from newspapers, magazines, and television. It's important to recognize that reporters conduct interviews daily, and making them highly experienced professionals. In contrast, company representatives often lack the same level of expertise in media interactions. So therefore, media training is essential because the way you, again, we have talked about it. The way you talk to in a Twitter is different from the way you present your situation in YouTube. So between social media, there is difference. So if you are not trained, then you will not be able to communicate properly, and that is this chapter about how to communicate properly about a crisis. Now, training perspectives include discussion and staging, which includes analyzing videos and news reports to distinguish effective from ineffective spokespersons' performances, focusing on the impact of their comments in audiences. So this is an example. A well-known example is a crisis training video featuring a television interview with former Exxon CEO Lawrence Roll after 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill. During the Good Morning America interview with anchor Kathleen Sullivan, Roll struggled to address Exxon's cleanup strategy and even accused Sullivan of creating a public relations nightmare for the company. So it is actually will backlash on the company. Instruction is the important component, educates participants of the internal workings of the news organizations, helping them understand media requirements and deadlines. Simulation and drama, this training method emphasizes practicing response to potential media questions, continuous rehearsals. I always tell myself this thing. You repeat and repeat till you become a master. That's all it is. Even if you are going to study this chapter, if you're going to read one time, somebody read it twice, somebody read it twice, thrice, how many times he or she repeated, it's going to affect the understanding of the subject matter. So, by the way, that's very important. Read the textbook along with this. We are only highlighting major points for your use, but there is so much material covered in the textbook. So make sure that you read the chapter well before taking the tests and the exams. This is Dr. V signing off. Have a great day.